Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology.
Hey friends, welcome back to Chinese History and Mythology. Last time we talked about how Shu Han had truly reached the edge of life and death. On the Wei side, Sima Zhao officially decided to attack Shu. He ordered Zhong Hui to command the main army and advance from the front through Hanzhong, while Deng Ai was sent from the direction of Longyou to hold Jiang Wei in place. Zhong Hui advanced all the way, broke through Yang'an Pass, and Fu Qian fought to the death and died for the state. The gateway to Hanzhong was completely opened. At the same time, Deng Ai did not choose to attack Jiangge from the front. Instead, he took a dangerous road that almost no one dared to take. He led his army through the small road at Yinping, crossing mountains and ridges, passing through 700 li of empty land, and even rolling down Moqian Ridge. Then he suddenly appeared around Jiangyu and Fu City. Ma Miao, the defender of Jiangyu, opened the city and surrendered. Deng Ai then took Fu City, and only then did the Shu Han court realize that the Wei army had already bypassed Jiangge and was pressing straight toward Chengdu. On the Shu Han side, although Jiang Wei had retreated to Jiangge and blocked Zhong Hui's great army, he never expected that Chengdu's rear had already been broken through by Deng Ai. The later Lord Liu Shan panicked and had no choice but to summon Zhuge Zhan, the son of Zhuge Liang, ordering him to lead the troops of Chengdu against Deng Ai. Zhuge Zhan accepted the command in a moment of crisis and took his son Zhuge Shan into battle, fighting Deng Ai at Mianzhu. At first, Zhuge Zhan and his son defeated the Wei army several times. They even used a wooden statue of Kongming to frighten Deng Zhong and Shizuan into retreat, briefly showing the power and reputation of the Zhuge family. But Deng Ai soon saw through the truth, set another ambush, and counterattacked, trapping Zhuge Zhan in a heavy encirclement. In the end, Zhuge Zhan was struck by arrows and fell from his horse, then killed himself to die for the state. When Zhuge Zhan saw his father die in battle, he also charged into the enemy formation and died on the battlefield. Zhang Zun, Huang Chong, Li Chu, and other Shu generals also fought with all their strength and died one after another. After Mianzhu fell, Deng Ai's great army had already broken through the final barrier on the road to Chengdu. At this moment, Jiang Wei was still at Jiangge. Zhong Hui's great army was still pressing forward on the front line, and inside Chengdu, the people had already fallen into panic. So as Deng Ai draws closer, will the later Lord Liu Shan choose to defend Chengdu to the death, or open the gates and surrender? Far away at Jiangge, can Jiang Wei still return in time to save Shu Han from its final crisis? And will the Shu Han that Zhuge Liang spent his life supporting finally come to its end at this very moment? Let's continue the story. Now, in Chengdu, the later Lord Liu Shan heard that Deng Ai had already captured Mianzhu, and that Zhuge Zhan and his son had both died in battle. He immediately turned pale with shock, and hurriedly gathered all the civil and military officials to discuss what to do. Close attendants from the palace came again to report. Outside the city, the common people are carrying the old and leading the young, crying loudly enough to shake the sky, and fleeing for their lives one after another. The situation is extremely urgent. When the later lord heard this, he completely lost his senses. Suddenly, a scout on horseback came to report. The Wei army has already reached the foot of Chengdu's walls. The ministers began talking all at once. Someone said, "Now our troops are too few to face the enemy in battle. It would be better to abandon Chengdu and flee south to the seven commanderies. There the mountains are high and the roads are dangerous, making it easy to defend. If we then borrow troops from the southern men, there may still be a chance to rise again in the future." Grandee of splendid happiness, Qiao Zhou immediately opposed this. "No, the tribes of Nanzhong have never truly accepted control, and in the past there was no bond of kindness or loyalty with them. If we flee there now, we will only bring destruction upon ourselves." Someone else suggested, "Shu has an alliance with Eastern Wu. Now that we face a crisis of survival, we can go and join Wu." Qiao Zhou again said, "Since ancient times, how has there ever been a ruler who could live under another person's roof and still remain emperor? I believe Wei can swallow Wu, but Wu may not be able to swallow Wei. If your majesty becomes a subject of Wu today, that is the first humiliation. In the future, if Wu is swallowed by Wei, and your majesty then becomes a subject of Wei, that will be a second great humiliation. It would be better to surrender directly to Wei. Wei will surely grant land and title, allowing your majesty to preserve the ancestral sacrifices and also protect the common people. I hope your majesty will think carefully." After hearing this, the later lord hesitated and could not decide, so he withdrew into the rear palace. The next day, the ministers still argued endlessly. Seeing that the situation was critical, Qiao Zhou again submitted a memorial urging surrender. Only then did the later lord plan to accept his advice and prepare to surrender. Suddenly, from behind the screen, one man came out and angrily cursed Qiao Zhou in a stern voice. "You rotten scholar who only wants to cling to life! How dare you casually discuss the great affairs of the state and the ancestral altar? Since ancient times, how has there ever been an emperor who surrendered to another man?" The later lord looked closely and saw that it was his fifth son, Liu Chen, Prince of Beidi. Liu Chen had been intelligent and strong-willed since childhood. At this moment, he cried as he advised. When the late emperor was alive, he never allowed Qiao Zhou to interfere in great affairs. Now Chengdu still has tens of thousands of troops, and Jiang Wei's whole army is stationed at Jiangge. If he learns that the Wei army has reached Chengdu, he will surely return to rescue us. If we attack from inside and outside together, victory is not impossible. How can we listen to the words of a rotten scholar and easily throw away the land conquered by the late emperor? The later lord scolded him. "You child, what do you know about the will of heaven?" Liu Chen kowtowed and cried loudly. "Even if the state has truly reached the point where it can no longer stand, we father and son, ruler and ministers, should fight with our backs to the city and die together for the state, so that we may face the late emperor underground. How can we surrender?" The later lord still refused to listen. Liu Chen cried out loudly. How difficult it was for the late emperor to build this land, and now, in a single morning, we hand it over to others. I would rather kill myself than bend my knees. After saying this, he was forced out of the palace by the close attendants. The later lord then ordered Qiao Zhou to draft the surrender memorial. He also sent Zhang Shao, palace attendant of the private office, Deng Lang, commandant of the imperial son-in-law, and Qiao Zhou together, carrying the imperial jade seal to Luo City, to request surrender from Deng Ai. At this time, Deng Ai was sending several hundred cavalrymen every day to patrol and scout outside Chengdu. That day, when he saw surrender flags hanging from the walls of Chengdu, Deng Ai was overjoyed. Before long, Zhang Shao and the others arrived at the Wei camp, bowed below the steps, and presented the surrender memorial and the jade seal. Deng Ai finished reading the surrender memorial, accepted the jade seal, treated the three men with generous courtesy, and wrote a reply to calm the people of Shu. Zhang Shao and the others returned to Chengdu, presented Deng Ai's reply to the later lord, and said that Deng Ai had treated them very generously. After the later lord read it, his heart became slightly calmer. He immediately ordered Grand Coachman Jiang Xian to deliver an imperial order to Jiang Wei, commanding him to surrender as soon as possible. He also sent Secretariat Gentleman Li Hu to deliver the household registers, documents, and other records to Deng Ai. The documents recorded that Chengdu had 280,000 households, a population of 940,000, more than 100,000 armored soldiers, 40,000 officials, more than 400,000 hu of grain in the storehouses, and countless amounts of gold, silver, brocade, and silk. It was also agreed that on the first day of the 12th month, the emperor would lead all civil and military officials out of the city to surrender. When Liu Chen, Prince of Beidi, heard this, his anger rose to the sky. Wearing his sword, he returned to his residence. His wife, Lady Kui, asked, "My lord, your expression is unusual today. What has happened?" Liu Chen said in grief and anger, "The Wei soldiers are about to enter the city. My father has already decided to surrender, and tomorrow he will lead the ministers out to submit. The fate of the state ends here. I am unwilling to suffer humiliation from others. I wish to die first, so that I can meet the late emperor underground." Lady Kui said, "That is truly virtuous. I am willing to die first, and you may follow after." Liu Chen was shocked and asked, "Why must you die too?" Lady Kui answered, "You die for your father. I die for my husband. The principle is the same. Since a husband dies, the wife should follow him. Why is there any need to ask?" After saying this, she struck herself against a pillar and died. Liu Shan then killed his 3 sons, cut off his wife's head, carried the bodies, and rushed to the temple of Emperor Zhao Li. There, he fell to the ground and cried, "I am ashamed to see the foundation of my ancestors taken away by others, so I first killed my wife and sons to cut off all attachment. Now I will also give my life to repay the state. If my ancestors have spirits in heaven, they should know the pain in their grandson's heart." He cried until blood came from both eyes, then drew his sword and cut his own throat. When the people of Chengdu heard about this, none were without grief. After the later lord learned that Liu Shan had killed himself, he only ordered that he be buried with full honors. The next day, the Wei army entered the city in great force. The later lord led the crown prince, the princes, and more than 60 ministers, with their hands bound behind their backs and coffins carried with them, and went 10 li out of the north gate to surrender. Deng Ai personally helped the later lord up, untied his ropes, burned the coffins, and then entered the city together with him in the same carriage. When the people of Chengdu learned that Liu Shan had surrendered, they carried incense and flowers and lined the roads to welcome the Wei army. Deng Ai appointed Liu Shan as general of chariots and cavalry, and the other civil and military officials were also placed in positions according to their ranks. After that, he invited the later lord to return to the imperial palace, issued proclamations to calm the people, formally took over the granaries and storehouses, and sent Grand Minister of Ceremonies Zhang Jun and Zhang Shao, assistant officer of Yizhou, to comfort the soldiers and civilians in each region. He also sent people to urge Jiang Wei to surrender, and at the same time dispatched envoys to Luoyang to report the victory. Deng Ai had long heard that Huang Hao was treacherous and cunning, and originally wanted to execute him. But Huang Hao used gold, silver, and treasures to bribe Deng Ai's trusted men around him, and only by luck did he preserve his life. At this point, Shu Han was completely destroyed. Meanwhile, Grand Coachman Zhang Shan hurried to Jiangge, entered the tent, bowed before Jiang Wei, and delivered the later lord's imperial order, saying that Shu had already surrendered to Wei. After Jiang Wei heard this, he was so shocked that his eyes stared blankly, and for a long time he could not speak. When the generals below the tent heard the news, their hearts were filled with grief and anger. They glared, gnashed their teeth, and some drew their blades and struck rocks, roaring, "We are fighting bitterly on the front line with our lives. Why did our lord surrender without a fight?" Their cries shook heaven and earth and carried for several dozen li. Seeing that the soldiers still turned their hearts toward the Han house, Jiang Wei knew that the people's loyalty had not yet scattered. He gently comforted them and said, "All of you, do not worry. I have another plan that can restore the Han house." When the generals heard this, they all knelt and begged to hear the plan. Jiang Wei then whispered the secret plan to the generals and quietly arranged everything. After that, he planted surrender flags all over Zhangge Pass and sent men to Zhang Hui's great camp to report, saying that Jiang Wei, together with Zhang Yi, Lao Hua, Dong Zhu, and the others, was preparing to surrender. Zhang Hui was delighted and personally sent men to welcome him. After Jiang Wei entered the tent, Zhang Hui smiled and said, "Brother Boyu, why have you only come now?" Jiang Wei's expression was grave and his eyes held tears. He said, "The great army of the state was under my command. For me to come personally and surrender today is already not too late." Zhang Hui respected Jiang Wei greatly. He personally left his seat to greet him and treated him with the courtesy of an honored guest. Jiang Wei then said to Zhang Hui, "I have long heard that since Huainan, General, your plans have never failed. The great enterprise of the Sima family relies entirely on your strength. Jiang Wei has long been willing to bow his head. If the one who came to attack today had been Deng Ai, I would have fought him to the death and would never have surrendered." After Zhang Wei heard this, he was overjoyed. He immediately broke an arrow as an oath, became sworn brothers with Jiang Wei, and ordered Jiang Wei to continue commanding his old troops, keeping his position as before. Jiang Wei was secretly pleased, and then sent Jiang Xian back to Chengdu to report. Meanwhile, after Deng Ai pacified Chengdu, he appointed Shi Zuan as inspector of Yizhou and arranged for Qian Hong, Wang Qi, and others to guard the various provinces and commanderies. He also built a high platform at Mianzhu to display his achievement in pacifying Shu and gathered the officials of Shu for a great banquet. When the wine had gone halfway around, Deng Ai raised his cup, pointed at the officials, and said, "The reason all of you can preserve your lives today is entirely because you met me, Deng Ai. If you had met another general, you would already have been killed cleanly." The officials all rose and bowed in thanks. Before long, Jiang Xian arrived and reported that Jiang Wei had already surrendered to Zheng Hui. When Deng Ai heard this, he was furious in his heart and became even more dissatisfied with Zheng Hui. He immediately wrote a memorial and sent it to Luoyang for Sima Zhao, who held great power. Sima Zhao opened the letter and saw that Deng Ai had written, "I deeply understand that in military strategy, one first creates a powerful reputation, then follows with real action. Now, taking advantage of the momentum from pacifying Shu, we should swiftly attack Wu. This is the great opportunity to unify the realm. But the army has fought battle after battle, and the soldiers are exhausted, so it is not suitable to set out again immediately. I request that 20,000 troops from Longyu and 20,000 Shu soldiers remain here to boil salt, forge iron, build ships, and make military equipment, preparing to go east with the current. We should also send envoys to Eastern Wu to explain the advantages and dangers. Then, we can make the enemy submit without fighting. At present, we should treat Liu Shan generously in order to settle Sun Shu's heart. If Liu Shan is immediately escorted to the capital, Eastern Wu will surely become suspicious and afraid, which will not help us persuade them to surrender. Liu Shan may be temporarily settled in Shu, then sent to the capital next winter, and he may be granted the title Prince of Fifang, given gold, silver, and treasures, and his sons and grandsons may be made marquises. In this way, Eastern Wu will fear our power, appreciate our virtue, and surrender as soon as it hears the wind." After Sima Zhao finished reading the letter, suspicion rose in his heart. He suspected that Deng Ai was relying on his army and his own importance and plotting something improper. So he first secretly wrote to Army Inspector Wei Guan, ordering him to secretly watch Deng Ai. Then he issued an edict praising Deng Ai's great achievement in pacifying Shu, appointed Deng Ai as Grand Commandant, increased his fief by 20,000 households, and made his two sons marquises of a village, each receiving a fief of 1,000 households. Deng Ai received the edict and gave thanks. Army Inspector Wei Guan took the chance to show Deng Ai Sima Zhao's handwritten letter. The letter made clear that the matters proposed by Deng Ai must first be reported to the court for approval and could not be carried out on his own authority. After Deng Ai read it, he laughed coldly and said, "When a general is outside, there are orders from the ruler that he does not accept. Since I have received command to campaign independently, why must I ask for instructions on every matter? Would that not delay the chance in war?" He still refused to back down and wrote another memorial, sending someone to deliver it to Luoyang. At that time, the censorial officials in court all submitted advice one after another, saying that Deng Ai must have disloyal intentions. Sima Zhao became even more wary. Then one day, the envoy returned to court and presented Deng Ai's reply. Sima Zhao opened it and read carefully. The letter said, "I received the command to campaign west, and the chief criminal has already submitted. Naturally, I should adapt to circumstances in order to calm the people's hearts. If I cling rigidly to court orders and run back and forth, it will instead ruin the right moment." According to the meaning of the Spring and Autumn Annals, when a high minister leaves the borders, if something benefits the state and the ancestral altars, he may decide and act on his own. Now Eastern Wu has not yet submitted, and it depends on Shu-like lips and teeth. If a small matter ruins the larger situation, would that not harm the state? Military strategy says, when advancing, do not seek fame. When retreating, do not avoid blame. I am willing to put the whole situation first and act when the moment is right. After Sima Zhao finished reading, he was greatly shocked and hurriedly discussed the matter with Jie Chang. Deng Ai is relying on his great merit and becoming more and more arrogant. He acts entirely according to his own will. Now his rebellious heart has already appeared. What should we do? Jie Chang said, "Why does my lord not take the chance to promote Zhong Hui and use him to restrain Deng Ai?" Sima Zhao thought this was reasonable, so he sent someone with an edict, appointing Zheng Hui as minister over the masses. At the same time, he ordered Wei Guan to serve as army inspector and supervise both armies. He also personally wrote a letter and gave it to Wei Guan, ordering him to secretly cooperate with Zheng Hui and watch Deng Ai's movements. When Zheng Hui received the edict, he saw that it praised him for being victorious everywhere since the campaign began, with no mistakes in his planning and complete merit in every way. He was specially appointed minister over the masses, promoted to county marquis, granted an increase of 10,000 households in his fief, and his 2 sons were also made marquises of a village. After Zheng Hui accepted the appointment, he immediately asked Jiang Wei to discuss the matter and said, "Now, Deng Ai's merit is even greater than mine, and he has been appointed Grand Commandant. But Sima Gong suspects that he intends to rebel, so he has me restrain him and has Wei Guan serve as army inspector. Boyu, what do you think?" Jiang Wei said, "I have heard that Deng Ai came from a humble background. When he was young, he was nothing more than a peasant child who herded cattle for others. Now he has taken the dangerous road through Yinping, climbed trees and crossed cliffs, and by luck achieved great merit. This is not his wisdom. It is only the good fortune of Jin. If General had not faced me at Jianga, how would Deng Ai have had the chance to gain merit? Now he wants to make the Shu ruler Prince of Fufeng precisely because he wants to win over the hearts of the Shu people. His rebellious intention is already very clear. Sima Gong is completely right to suspect him." Zheng Hui was delighted to hear this. Jiang Wei then said, "Please send the attendants away for now. I have a major secret matter to tell you." Zheng Hui ordered those on the left and right to withdraw. Jiang Wei took a scroll from his sleeve and handed it to Zheng Hui, saying, "This is the map of the realm that Wuhou Zhuge once presented to the late Emperor Liu Bei while he was still in the thatched cottage. Wuhou once said that the terrain of Yizhou is dangerous and strategic, with fertile fields stretching for 1,000 li and wealthy people. It is a land where a great enterprise can be achieved. That is why the late emperor established his capital in Chengdu. Now that Deng Ai has reached this precious land, how could his heart not be moved?" The more Zheng Hui looked, the more delighted he became. He pointed at the scroll and asked about the mountains, rivers, and terrain. Jiang Wei explained everything to him in detail one by one. Zheng Hui asked, "Then in your view, how should we remove Deng Ai?" Jiang Wei answered, "Now Sima Gong is suspicious of Deng Ai. General only needs to submit a memorial at once and impeach him for rebellion. Sima Gong will surely order you to attack Deng Ai, and in one move you can take him down." Zheng Hui was overjoyed and acted according to the plan. He immediately sent someone to present a memorial to Luoyang, accusing Deng Ai of seizing power without permission, acting arrogantly, making ties with the Shu people, and saying that sooner or later he would surely rebel. After hearing this, everyone in the court was greatly shocked. Zheng Hui also sent men to intercept Deng Ai's original memorials on their way to the court, imitate Deng Ai's handwriting, secretly change the contents, and add many arrogant and disrespectful words, making his own accusations seem even more believable. When Sima Zhao saw Deng Ai's memorial, he was furious. He immediately sent men to Zheng Hui's army and ordered Zheng Hui to arrest Deng Ai. He also ordered Jie Cheng to lead 30,000 soldiers through Zi Valley, while he himself personally led the Wei ruler Cao Huan on a campaign with the imperial carriage. West Bureau clerk Shao Ti advised him, "Zheng Hui's troops are 6 times as many as Deng Ai's. Let him take Deng Ai directly. Why must my lord go in person?" Sima Zhao laughed and said, "Have you forgotten what you said before? Did you not once say that Zheng Hui would also rebel in the future? This time, on the surface, I am sending out troops because of Deng Ai, but the true target is Zheng Hui." Shao Ti smiled and said, "I was only afraid that my lord had forgotten, so I specially reminded you. Since you already have a plan, you must keep it secret and not allow it to leak." Sima Zhao nodded, then led the army and set out. At this time, Jia Cheng also suspected that Zheng Hui had disloyal intentions and quietly told Sima Zhao. Sima Zhao only smiled faintly. "If I sent you, should I also suspect you? Once we reach Chang'an, the truth will naturally become clear." Before long, a secret scout hurriedly reported to Zheng Hui, "Sima Zhao has already reached Chang'an." Zheng Hui turned pale with shock and hurriedly summoned Jiang Wei to discuss the plan to arrest Deng Ai. Now, Zhong Hui invited Jiang Wei to discuss the plan to arrest Deng Ai. Jiang Wei said, "You can first send Army Inspector Wei Guan to arrest Deng Ai. If Deng Ai kills Wei Guan, then the crime of rebellion will be proven, and General can raise troops to punish him with full justification." Jiang Wei was delighted and immediately sent Wei Guan with several dozen men to Chengdu, preparing to arrest Deng Ai and his son. Wei Guan's subordinates all tried to stop him. "This is a trap set by Zheng Hui. He wants Deng Ai to kill you, so that Deng Ai's rebellion will be proven. You must not go." But Wei Guan said calmly, "I have my own plan." So Wei Guan first issued dozens of proclamations clearly stating, "By imperial order, Deng Ai is to be arrested. No one else will be held responsible. If you submit as early as possible, your ranks and rewards will remain as before. If you dare resist stubbornly, your 3 clans will be exterminated." Then he prepared 2 prison carts and hurried toward Chengdu through the night. By the time the roosters crowed, Deng Ai's officers and soldiers had seen the proclamations and came one after another to surrender to Wei Guan. At this time, Deng Ai had not yet risen from bed. Wei Guan led several dozen men and suddenly broke into the residence, shouting, "By imperial order, arrest Deng Ai and his son." Deng Ai was greatly shocked and rolled and crawled out of bed. Before he even had time to defend himself, he was tied up by the soldiers and pushed onto a prison cart. Deng Ai's son, Ding Zhong, also came out to ask what was happening, and he was immediately captured on the spot and tied to the cart as well. The generals in the residence were shocked and confused. They were just about to act and rescue them when they suddenly saw dust rising in the distance. Scouts reported, "Minister over the masses Song's great army has arrived." When everyone heard this, they all scattered and fled, not daring to resist. Song Hui and Jiang Wei dismounted and entered the residence. Seeing that Deng Ai and his son had already been tied up, Jiang Hui raised his whip and struck Deng Ai hard on the head, cursing, "You cattle-herding boy! How dare you act so recklessly?" Jiang Wei also cursed, "You petty man, you took a dangerous road and gained merit by luck. So this day has come for you too." Deng Ai cursed loudly in return. Jiang Hui then ordered men to escort Deng Ai and his son to Luoyang, while he himself entered Chengdu, took in all of Deng Ai's troops, and became even more powerful. Jiang Hui said to Jiang Wei, "Today I have finally fulfilled my lifelong ambition." But Jiang Wei reminded him, "In the past, Han Xin did not listen to Kuai Teng and finally died in Weiyang Palace. Dai Fu Zheng did not follow Fan Li into retirement on the 5 Lakes, and in the end he also cut his own throat. These 2 men had great fame and merit, but because they did not know when to advance and when to retreat, they lost everything. Now that your great achievement has been made and your power shakes the court, why not withdraw at the height of success? Take a boat and leave. Go up Mount Yimi to cultivate the way and become friends with Qizongzi." Zheng Hui laughed loudly. "That is far from my mind. I am not yet 40. This is exactly the time to achieve great plans. How could I retire now?" Zheng Hui sighed and said, "Since you will not retire, then you should make plans early and act only after everything is settled. As for how to plan it, my lord naturally has wisdom and strategy. This old man need not say more." Zheng Hui clapped his hands and laughed. "Bo Yu truly understands my heart." From then on, the 2 men secretly discussed great affairs every day. But Jiang Wei secretly wrote a letter to the later Lord Liu Shan. In the letter, he said, "I hope your majesty will endure humiliation for a few more days. I will turn the Han realm from danger back to safety, and make the sun and moon, now covered in dust, shine again. I swear I will not allow the Han house to be destroyed here." Before long, a letter from Sima Zhao arrived. Zheng Hui opened it and saw that it said, "I feared you would not be able to arrest Deng Ai, so I personally led troops and stationed them at Chang'an. Now I am not far from you, so I write to inform you first." After Zheng Hui read it, his expression changed greatly. He said, "My forces are several times stronger than Deng Ai's. If it were only to arrest Deng Ai, the Duke of Jin already knew I could handle it. Now he has personally brought troops here. Clearly, he already suspects me." Zhang Hui hurriedly discussed the matter with Jiang Wei. Jiang Wei said, "Once a ruler suspects a minister, that minister is certain to die. Have you not seen Deng Ai's fate?" Zhang Hui struck the table and said, "My mind is made up. If this succeeds, I can seize the realm." Even if it fails, I can still retreat and hold Western Shu, becoming another Liu Bei, Jiang Wei said. Recently I heard that Empress Dowager Guo has just passed away. You can borrow her name and claim she left an edict ordering you to punish Sima Zhao and avenge his crime of killing the ruler. In this way, your cause will be proper and justified. With your talent and strategy, sweeping through the Central Plains will not be difficult. Zhang Hui was delighted. Then Bo Yu will be the vanguard. Once the matter succeeds, you and I will share wealth and honor. Jiang Wei cupped his hands and said, I am willing to serve like a dog or horse. I only fear the generals will not obey. Zhang Hui said, Tomorrow is the Lantern Festival. We will hold a great lantern banquet in the old Han Palace and invite the generals to attend. Anyone who refuses to follow will be killed. Jiang Wei was secretly overjoyed. The next day, Zhang Hui and Jiang Wei held a banquet and invited the generals to attend. After several rounds of wine, Zhang Hui suddenly held his cup and began to weep bitterly. The generals were greatly shocked and asked why he was acting this way. Zhang Hui cried. Before Empress Dowager Guo died, she left an edict ordering me to punish Sima Zhao. Sima Zhao killed the ruler and deceived the throne. His crimes are extreme, and sooner or later he will usurp Wei and make himself emperor. We are court ministers. How can we sit and watch without acting? All of you must sign and seal your names, and together we will complete this matter. When everyone heard this, they looked at one another in shock and fear. Zhang Hui drew his sword from its sheath and shouted in a stern voice, Anyone who disobeys will be executed. The generals were so frightened that their souls seemed to leave them. They had no choice but to sign and seal their names one by one. After they finished, Zhang Hui placed the generals under house arrest inside the palace and sent soldiers to guard them tightly. Zhang Wei quietly said to Zhang Hui, I do not think these men are truly willing to obey. It would be better to bury them all alive. Zhang Hui nodded and said, I have already ordered men to dig large pits inside the palace, and I have prepared several thousand heavy clubs. Anyone who refuses to obey will simply be beaten to death and buried. At this time, Zhang Hui's trusted man Qu Jian was serving nearby. Qu Jian had originally served under protector of the army Hu Lai, and Hu Lai was now being held under house arrest inside the palace. Qu Jian secretly told Hu Lai about Zhang Hui's plot. When Hu Lai heard it, he was greatly shocked and begged through tears, My son Hu Yuan is leading troops outside. How would he know that Zhong Hui has already developed a rebellious heart? If you remember that I once treated you well, find a way to send a message out. Then even if I die, I will be content. Qu Jian said quietly, My benefactor, do not worry. I will find a way. After that, he went to see Zhong Hui and said, My lord, you have placed the generals under house arrest in the palace. Now it is very inconvenient to send food and messages in and out. It would be better to let me arrange one person to enter and leave specially for this purpose. Zhong Hui had always trusted Qu Jian, so he nodded and agreed, then reminded him, I entrust this great matter to you. You must never let it leak. Qu Jian agreed, then secretly arranged for one of Hu Lei's trusted men to enter the palace. Hu Lai then wrote a secret letter and gave it to this man, ordering him to deliver it to Hu Yuan's camp as quickly as possible. The trusted man rushed through the night to Hu Yuan's camp, explained everything happening inside the palace, and presented Hu Yuan's secret letter. After Hu Yuan read it, he was greatly shocked. He immediately gathered the officers and soldiers of each camp and passed the letter around. When the generals saw it, they flew into a rage and said one after another, Even if we die, we cannot join with the rebel minister. Hu Yuan said, Then we will set the time at noon on the 18th day of the first month. We will send troops into the palace and destroy the traitors in one move. When Army Inspector Wei Guan heard that Hu Yuan already had a plan, he was delighted. He immediately organized his troops and also had Qu Jian pass the message to Hu Lei. Hu Lei then passed the news to the other imprisoned generals. They all secretly agreed to strike back together. Now, Zhang Hui invited Jiang Wei to discuss matters and said, Last night I dreamed that several thousand great snakes surrounded me and bit me. What sign is this dream? Jiang Wei answered, Dreaming of dragons and snakes is a sign of great fortune. Zhang Hui was delighted and asked again, The weapons are already prepared. Can we first release the generals and ask what they intend to do? Jiang Wei said, "These men were never willing to obey. If we wait too long, trouble will surely arise. It would be better to kill them cleanly as soon as possible." Jiang Wei accepted this and ordered Jiang Wei to lead warriors to execute the Wei generals. Jiang Wei accepted the order and was just about to act when suddenly his heart pain flared up and he fainted to the ground. Those around him hurriedly helped him up, and only after a long while did he wake. Just then, soldiers came to report, "Outside the palace, the noise of people is boiling over." Deng Ai hurriedly sent men out to investigate, but before the scouts could even leave the gate, shouts shook the sky on all sides, and countless troops attacked from every direction. Jiang Wei was greatly shocked and said, "This must be those generals making trouble. We should first kill a group of them to establish authority." Another man reported, "Enemy soldiers have already broken into the palace." Jiang Wei hurriedly ordered the palace doors to be tightly shut and told the soldiers to climb onto the rooftops and throw tiles to resist. In the chaos, they killed several dozen men, but the palace walls on all sides were already on fire. The outside troops chopped open the palace doors and swarmed in. Jiang Wei personally drew his sword and cut down several men, but in the end, he was struck by arrows in the chaos and fell dead. The generals cut off his head and hung it on a spear. Seeing that the situation was lost, Jiang Wei drew his sword, leapt up into the hall, and charged back and forth in battle. But unexpectedly, the pain in his heart grew even worse, and his blood and breath surged violently. He looked up to heaven and cried out, "My plan could not succeed after all." So it was heaven's will that could not be opposed. After saying this, he cut his own throat and died. He was 59 years old. In the fighting inside the palace, several hundred people died. Army Inspector Wei Guan gave an order. "All armies return to your original camps and quietly await the royal command." The Wei soldiers hated Jiang Wei and fought to cut open his corpse. They discovered that his gallbladder was as large as a chicken egg. The generals also killed all of Jiang Wei's family members. At this time, Deng Ai's former subordinates heard that Zhang Hui and Jiang Wei had both been killed, so they raised troops through the night, wanting to rescue Deng Ai and his son from custody. The news was reported to Wei Guan. Wei Guan was greatly shocked and said, "Deng Ai was captured by my own hands. If he escapes now, I will have no way to live either." Protector of the army Tiansu stepped forward and said, "When Deng Ai entered Jiangyu, he once wanted to kill me. I only survived because everyone pleaded for me. Today is the perfect time to repay that hatred." Wei Guan was delighted and immediately ordered Tiansu to lead 500 soldiers to Mianzhu. At this time, Deng Ai and his son had just been released from the prison cart by his old subordinates and were preparing to return to Chengdu. He thought the approaching men were his own troops and did not take precautions. He was just about to ask a question when Tiansu cut him down from his horse with one strike. Deng Zhong also died in the chaotic army. With Jiang Wei, Zhang Hui, and Deng Ai all dead, Zhang Yi and other Shu generals also died in the chaos. Crown Prince Liu Shan and Guan Yi, Marquis of Hanshu village, were also killed by Wei soldiers. The soldiers and people of Chengdu fled in terror, trampling one another, and the dead were too many to count. 10 days later, Jia Cheng led troops to Chengdu and issued notices to calm the people. Only then did the city settle slightly. He ordered Wei Guan to guard Chengdu, and he also sent men to escort Liu Shan to Luoyang. Only a few people accompanied him, including Director of the Imperial Secretariat Fan Jian, Palace Attendant Zhang Shao, Grandee of Splendid Happiness Qiao Zhou, and Secretariat Gentleman Xi Zeng. The old generals Liao Hua and Deng Zhu both claimed illness and could not rise. They sighed in grief day and night, and in the end, died from sorrow and anger. At this time, Wei changed the reign title to the first year of Shanxi, which was the 3rd month of spring in the 5th year of Jingyuan. When the great Wu general Ding Feng learned that Shu Han had fallen, he brought the army back to Wu. Hua He, assistant in the Central Secretariat, submitted a memorial to the Wu ruler Sun Shu, saying, "Wu and Shu depend on each other like lips and teeth. Now that the lips are gone, the teeth are cold. I believe Sima Zhao will soon attack Wu. I hope your majesty will make preparations early." Sun Shu listened. He appointed Lu Kang, the son of Lu Sung, as great general who guards the east and also governor of Jingzhou, stationed at Jiangkou. He also ordered Left General Sang Yi to guard Nanshu and other dangerous passes, setting up several hundred military camps along the river, all under the command of the veteran general Ding Feng, in order to guard against a Wei invasion. When Huo Yi, administrator of Jianning, learned that Chengdu had fallen. He dressed in plain mourning clothes and cried toward the west for 3 days. The generals advised him, since the Han ruler has already lost the realm, why not surrender early? Huo Yi sighed and said, "The roads are cut off, and we still do not know whether our lord is safe or in danger. If the Wei ruler treats him with proper courtesy, it will not be too late for us to surrender the city. But if anything humiliates our lord, then when the ruler is humiliated, the minister must die. How could we submit?" Everyone agreed, so they sent men to Luoyang to find out news of Liu Shan. Now, after Liu Shan arrived in Luoyang, Sima Zhao had already returned to court. Sima Zhao rebuked him, saying, "You were immoral and without the way. You abandoned worthy ministers, and because of this, you lost your state. By rights, you should be executed." Liu Shan's face turned pale, and he did not know how to answer. The civil and military officials at court submitted. Since the ruler of Shu lost his land, but fortunately surrendered early, he should be pardoned. So Sima Zhao named Liu Shan Duke of Anlo, gave him a residence, provided for his living expenses each month, and also granted him 10,000 bolts of silk and 100 servants. Liu Shan's son Liu Yao, as well as Fan Jian, Chao Zhou, Xi Zheng, and others, were also made marquises. Only after Huo Yi learned that Liu Shan had safely received a title did he lead his people to surrender. After Liu Shan thanked them and left the palace, Sima Zhao took the chance to execute Huang Hao. He ordered warriors to take this treacherous eunuch, who had eaten away at the state and harmed the people, to the marketplace and execute him by slow slicing. The next day, Liu Shan personally went to Sima Zhao's residence to give thanks. Sima Zhao held a banquet to receive him. First, he ordered musicians to perform Wei music and dances. The former Shu officials all showed sadness on their faces, but Liu Shan alone smiled brightly. Sima Zhao then ordered Shu people to wear Shu clothing and perform Shu music. After hearing it, the Shu ministers all shed tears, but Liu Shan still smiled naturally. When the wine had reached its height, Sima Zhao said to Jia Chong, "A person without feeling can truly reach this point. Even if Zhuge Liang were still alive, it would be hard to support him for long, let alone Jiang Wei." Then he asked Liu Shan, "Do you still miss the land of Shu?" Liu Shan answered, "There is much pleasure here. I do not really miss Shu." Before long, Liu Shan rose to change his clothes. Xi Zheng quietly said to him from the side, "How can your majesty say you do not miss Shu? If the Duke of Jin asks again, you can answer with tears. The graves of my ancestors are far away in Shu. My heart is filled with sorrow, and I think of them every day. Then the Duke of Jin will surely let your majesty return to Shu." Liu Shan remembered these words and returned to the banquet. As the wine grew stronger, Sima Zhao asked again, "Do you still miss the land of Shu?" Liu Shan answered according to Xi Zheng's words, but he wanted to cry and had no tears, so he could only close his eyes. Sima Zhao laughed and said, "Why does that sound like something Xi Zheng told you to say?" Liu Shan opened his eyes in shock and said, "It was indeed Xi Zheng who taught me." Sima Zhao and everyone around him all burst into laughter. Because of this, Sima Zhao felt Liu Shan was honest and no longer suspected him. Meanwhile, because Sima Zhao had achieved the great merit of pacifying Western Shu, the ministers at court submitted a request that the Wei ruler Cao Huan make Sima Zhao a king. Although Cao Huan held the title of Son of Heaven, real power had long been in the hands of the Sima family, so he did not dare refuse. He therefore made Sima Zhao king of Jin and posthumously honored Sima Yi as King Xuan and Sima Shi as King Jing. Sima Zhao had 2 sons. His eldest son, Sima Yan, was intelligent, heroic, and unusually bold. His second son, Sima Yu, was gentle, respectful, and modest, and Sima Zhao also loved him greatly. Because Sima Shi had no son, Sima Zhao often said, "The realm belongs to my elder brother." So after he was made king of Jin, he once wanted to make Sima Yu the heir. Shen Tao advised him, "To set aside the elder and establish the younger goes against ritual law and is inauspicious." Jia Cheng, He Zeng, and Pei Xu also advised him, "The eldest son, Sima Yan, is intelligent and brave, the hope of the people, and the one to whom heaven's mandate belongs." Grand Commandant Wang Xiang and Minister of Works Sun Yi also said, "In earlier ages, setting aside the elder and establishing the younger often led to disorder in the state. We hope your highness will think carefully." Only then did Sima Zhao make his eldest son Sima Yan the heir. Before long, the ministers again submitted that auspicious signs had appeared throughout the realm and advised Sima Zhao to wear the crown with 12 hanging strands of beads and establish the imperial ceremonial guard. Sima Zhao was secretly delighted. He returned to the palace and was just about to eat and drink when he suddenly suffered a stroke and could not speak. The next day, his illness became serious. Wang Shang, He Zheng, Sun Yi, and the other great ministers entered the palace to ask about his health. Sima Zhao could not open his mouth. He only pointed with his hand toward the air, Sima Yan, and then died. That same day, Sima Yan succeeded as king of Jin. He appointed He Zheng as chancellor of Jin, Sima Wang as minister over the masses, Shi Bao as general of chariots and cavalry, and Chen Can as general of chariots and cavalry. He posthumously named Sima Zhao King Wen. After the burial was complete, Sima Yan summoned Jia Chong and Pei Shu into the palace and asked, "Cao Cao once said, 'If heaven's mandate returns to me, I am willing to be King Wen of Zhou.' Is this true?" Jia Chong answered, "Although Cao Cao received office and salary from the Han court during his lifetime, he feared that people would say he had usurped and rebelled, so he said this. In truth, he was clearly telling Cao Pai to succeed him and become emperor." Sima Yan asked again, "How does my father Sima Zhao compare with Cao Cao?" Jia Chong answered, "Although Cao Cao the merit covered all of China, the people feared his power and did not remember his virtue." Later, 3 generations of the Sima family repeatedly achieved great merit, giving kindness and spreading virtue, and the hearts of the realm had long since returned to them. King Wen swallowed Western Shu, and his achievement covers the age. How could Cao Cao compare? Sima Yan said, "If Cao Pai could inherit from Han and establish himself, can I not inherit the foundation of Wei?" Jia Chong and Pei Shu immediately knelt and said, "Your Highness should indeed follow Cao Pai's example in receiving Han's abdication. Let the Wei Emperor build an abdication altar and formally take the throne." Sima Yan was delighted. The next day, Sima Yan entered the palace wearing his sword. The Wei ruler Cao Huan had not held court for several days. His mind was confused and his behavior was abnormal. Sima Yan went straight into the rear palace, and Cao Huan hurriedly rose to welcome him. Sima Yan sat down and asked, "On whose strength does the realm of Wei rely?" Cao Huan answered, "It is all granted by the ancestors of the king of Jin." Sima Yan smiled and said, "In my view, your majesty cannot govern with civil ability and cannot defend the state with military ability. Why not let a person of talent and virtue manage affairs?" Cao Huan was greatly shocked and was left tongue-tied. Beside him, gentleman attendant of the Yellow Gate Zhang Ji shouted, "King of Jin, these words are wrong. In those years, Emperor Wu of Wei, Cao Cao, campaigned north and south, pacified the east and settled the west. The realm was not gained easily. Now his majesty has virtue and no crime. How can he yield the throne to someone else?" Sima Yan flew into a rage. This state was originally the state of the great Han. Cao Cao held the Son of Heaven hostage to command the feudal lords, made himself king of Wei, and usurped the Han house. My grandfather and father, 3 generations of the Sima family, assisted Wei. The completion of the realm truly depended on the Sima family. All within the 4 seas know this. Why can I not inherit the realm of Wei today? Zhang Ji cursed again. "What you are doing makes you a thief who usurps the state." Sima Yan said angrily, "I am avenging the Han house. Why should that not be allowed?" He immediately ordered warriors to beat Zhang Ji to death with clubs below the hall. Cao Huan knelt and cried, but Sima Yan brushed his sleeves and left. Cao Huan asked Jia Chong and Pei Shu, "The situation is urgent. What should I do?" Jia Chong said, "Heaven's mandate has ended. Your Majesty must not go against heaven. You should follow the old example of Emperor Shan of Han, build an abdication altar, and solemnly abdicate to the King of Jin. In this way, you follow heaven's will, and your Majesty can also remain safe and free from worry." Cao Huan had no choice but to obey, and ordered Jia Chong to build the abdication altar. On the Jiazi day of the 12th month, Cao Huan personally held the imperial jade seal and stood on the altar, gathering all civil and military officials. The king of Jin, Sima Yan, climbed the altar and received the abdication. Cao Huan stepped down from the altar, wore the robes of a duke, and stood at the head of the ranks. Sima Yan sat upright on the altar. Jia Cheng and Pei Xiu stood on the left and right holding swords and ordered Cao Huan to bow 3 times and lie prostrate to receive the command. Jia Cheng proclaimed, "Since the 25th year of Jian An in Han, when Wei received Han's abdication, 45 years have passed. Today, heaven's mandate returns to Jin. The Sima family has outstanding merit and virtue and may ascend to the proper position of emperor. You are made king of Chengdu and shall live outside the capital at Jinyong City. Without a summoned edict, you may not enter the capital." Cao Huan wept, gave thanks, and left. Grand Tutor Sima Fu cried as he bowed to Cao Huan and said, "Although I am a minister of Wei, I will never betray Wei." Seeing this, Sima Yan made Sima Fu king of Anping. Sima Fu refused the title, resigned from office, and returned home. That day, all the civil and military officials bowed again below the altar and shouted long life. Sima Yan inherited the rule of Wei, took the state name Great Jin, changed the reign title to the first year of Taishi, and granted a general amnesty throughout the realm. At this point, Wei was destroyed. Sima Yan posthumously honored Sima Yi as Emperor Xuan, Sima Shi as Emperor Jing, and Sima Zhao as Emperor Wen, and established 7 ancestral temples to glorify his ancestors. After the great matter was settled, Sima Yan held court every day and began discussing the great plan to attack Wu. Now, speaking of the Wu ruler Sang Xiu, when he heard that Sima Yan had already usurped Wei and would surely attack Eastern Wu in the future, he became so worried that he fell ill and could no longer rise from bed. Before his death, he summoned Chancellor Pu Yangxing into the palace, and also ordered the Crown Prince Sun Hao to leave the palace and pay respects. He pointed with his hand at Pu Yangxing, and before long he passed away. After Pu Yangxing came out, he discussed the matter with the ministers and originally wanted to make the Crown Prince emperor. Left Army Controller Wan Yu said, "The Crown Prince is young and cannot govern alone. It would be better to establish Sun Hao, Marquis of Wuchang." Left General Zhang Bu also said, "Sun Hao is talented, wise, and decisive. He can be emperor." Pu Yangxing could not make up his mind, so he went to report to Empress Dowager Ju. The Empress Dowager said, "I am only a widow. How would I understand the great affairs of the state? You should discuss and decide it yourselves." So Pu Yangxing welcomed Sun Hao and placed him on the throne. Sun Hao, courtesy name Yuanzong, was the son of Sun He, the crown prince of Sun Quan. After he took the throne, he changed the reign title to Yuanxing, posthumously honored his father Sun He as Emperor Wen, honored his mother Lady He as Empress Dowager, and appointed Ding Feng as Right Great Marshal. At first, everyone still thought he might achieve something. Who would have expected that Sun Hao was cruel, violent, and brutal, lost in wine and women, and favored the central regular attendant Sen Han? Chancellor Pu Yangxing and Zhang Bu advised him many times, but instead, Sun Hao had them killed and implicated their 3 clans. From then on, no one at court dared to offer advice again. Later, Sun Hao changed the reign title to Baoding and appointed Lu Kai and Wan Yu as left and right chancellors. At that time, Sun Hao lived in Wuchang. The people of Yangzhou suffered greatly because of transporting supplies. Harsh taxes and burdens were heavy, and the state treasury was growing emptier by the day. Lu Kai submitted a memorial of advice, saying, "Now, although there is no famine, the number of dead among the people grows day by day. Although there is no great war, the state treasury is completely empty. In the past, when the Han house declined, the realm was divided into 3. Now, Cao Wei and Shu Han lost the hearts of the people, and in the end, both returned to Jin. This is clear proof before our eyes. The land of Wuchang is barren and is not a capital for a king." A folk song among the people says, "I would rather drink the water of Jianye than eat the fish of Wuchang. I would rather return to Jianye and die than live in Wuchang." This clearly shows where the people's hearts turn. "I hope your majesty will reduce labor service, abolish harsh taxes, cut down the women of the rear palace, and select officials strictly. In this way, the people will return their hearts to the court, and the state will naturally be secure." After Sun Hao read this, he was very displeased. Not only did he refuse to listen, he instead began large construction works and built Yaoming Palace, ordering civil and military officials to go into the mountains and cut timber. He also summoned the diviner Shangguang to divine the great affairs of the realm. Shangguang received a lucky omen and said, "In the Gangxi year, the green canopied carriage will enter Luoyang." Sun Hao was delighted and asked Hua He, assistant in the central secretariat, "I want to swallow the central plains in one move and avenge the ruler of Shu. Where should I take first?" Hua He advised him, "Now that Shu Han has fallen, Sima Yan must have the intention of swallowing Wu. Your Majesty should cultivate virtue and calm the people. This is the best plan. If you send troops recklessly, it will be like wearing hemp to put out a fire. You will surely burn yourself." Sun Hao was furious. "I am planning to restore the old enterprise, and yet you speak such unlucky words. If I did not remember your past merit, I would have had you beheaded already." He immediately ordered warriors to push Hua He out of the palace gate. After Hua He left court, he sighed and said, "What a pity. This beautiful land of rivers and mountains will soon fall into someone else's hands." So he withdrew into seclusion and no longer came out. Sun Hao then ordered general who guards the east, Lu King, to garrison Jiangkou and planned to attack Xiangyang. When the news reached Luoyang, the Jin ruler Sima Yan summoned the ministers to discuss it. Jia Chong reported, "Sun Hao does not cultivate virtuous government and only acts with violence and cruelty. Your Majesty can order Commander Yang Hu to lead troops and guard Xiangyang. Once Eastern Wu falls into internal disorder, we can take the chance to attack and will surely succeed." Sima Yan was delighted and immediately sent an envoy to Xiangyang with the order. After Yang Hu arrived in Xiangyang, he organized military affairs, comforted the people, and was deeply loved by the soldiers and civilians. If anyone in the Wu army surrendered and later wanted to leave, he also allowed them to return. After the number of garrison soldiers was reduced, he let them open up fields for farming. When Yang Hu first arrived, the army had less than 100 days of grain. Later, they stored up 10 years of grain. In the army, he often wore a light fur robe and a loose belt, and did not put on armor. There were only a little more than 10 guards before his tent. One day, a subordinate general entered the tent and reported, "The Wu soldiers are careless. We can take the chance to attack and will surely win a great victory." Yang Hu smiled and said, "You underestimate Lu Kang. Lu Kang has both wisdom and courage. Some time ago, when the Wu ruler ordered him to attack Ezeling, he killed Bu Chan and several dozen officers and soldiers, and I could not rescue them in time. With this man as their general, we can only firmly guard the border and wait for disorder inside Wu. If we act rashly, we will surely fail." So the generals only guarded the border and did not dare move recklessly. Another day, Yang Hu took the generals hunting and happened to meet Lu Kang, who was also out hunting. Yang Hu ordered, "Our army must not cross the border." The generals only hunted within Jin territory and never entered Wu land. Lu Kang saw this from far away and sighed, "General Yang's military discipline is strict and clear. He truly cannot be attacked lightly." After dark, the two armies each withdrew. After Yang Hu returned to camp, he inspected the game and found some animals that had first been wounded by Wu arrows, so he returned all of them to the Wu people. After Lu Kang heard this, he also sent wine to Yang Hu. Someone advised Yang Hu to be careful of a trick, but Yang Hu smiled and said, "Lu Kang is not a poisonous and vicious man. There is no need to suspect him." After saying this, he drank all the wine. Later, Lu Kang became ill. When Yang Hu heard this, he sent medicine to him. The Wu generals worried that it might be poisoned, but Lu Kang said, "How could young Shuzi poison someone?" So he took the medicine, and the next day, his illness was cured. From then on, although the two sides were enemy states, they respected each other. Lu Kang said to the generals, "Yang Hu treats me with virtue. If I struggle against him by force, it would instead make me seem unrighteous. Now we only need to each guard our borders. There is no need to fight over small gains." Before long, the Wu ruler Sun Hao sent an envoy to urge Lu Kang to advance. Lu Kang wrote a memorial advising Sun Hao to cultivate virtue, use punishments carefully, and settle internal affairs first, saying that he should not fight lightly. After Sun Hao read it, he was furious. "I heard that Lu Kang was secretly communicating with the enemy, so it really is true." He then removed Lu Kang from military command, demoted him to Sima, and replaced him with Left General Sun Yi to command the army. The ministers were afraid. and no one dared advise him. After this, Sun Hao became even more reckless and willful, exhausting the army and delighting in war. Chancellor Wan Yu, General Liu Ping, Grand Minister of Agriculture Lu Xuan, and others advised him directly, but all were killed. Over more than 10 years, more than 40 loyal ministers died. Whenever Sun Hao went in or out, he often brought 50,000 armored cavalry, and the ministers were terrified. No one dared resist him. When Yang Hu heard that Lu Kang had been dismissed and that Sun Hao had lost virtue, he knew Eastern Wu now had an opening that could be used. So he submitted a memorial requesting that Sima Yan attack Wu. In the memorial, he said, "Now the dangerous points of Jiang Huai are not as strong as Jiangge. Sun Hao is more brutal than Liu Shan. The suffering of the Wu people is worse than that of Ba and Shu, and the military strength of Great Jin is stronger than before. If we do not take this chance to pacify the four seas in one move, and instead continue facing each other with arms, the realm will surely be trapped in war and disorder." After Sima Yan read it, he was delighted and ordered preparations to attack Wu. But Jia Chong, Sun Su, and Feng Dan strongly opposed it, so Sima Yan did not act for the moment. When Yang Hu heard this, he sighed and said, "In the affairs of the realm, 8 or 9 out of 10 do not go as one wishes. To fail to grasp today's chance is truly a pity." In the 4th year of Shanning, Yang Hu entered court and requested leave to recover from illness. Sima Yan asked, "What good plan to secure the state do you have to teach me?" Yang Hu answered, "Sun Hao is cruel to the extreme. Now he can be conquered without battle. If Sun Hao dies and Wu establishes another worthy ruler, then it will no longer be something your majesty can take." Sima Yan asked, "If you led troops now and set out, how would that be?" Yang Hu said, "I am old and ill and cannot bear such a heavy task. Your majesty only needs to choose another man of wisdom and courage." In the 11th month of that year, Yang Hu became seriously ill, and Sima Yan personally went to his home to visit him. Yang Hu said through tears, "Even in death, I cannot repay your majesty's kindness." Sima Yan also wept and said, "I deeply regret that I could not use your plan to attack Wu. Today, who can inherit your wish?" Yang Hu answered, "Right General Du Yu can be entrusted with this matter. If you attack Wu, you must use him." Not long after saying this, he passed away. Sima Yan returned to the palace in tears and issued an edict posthumously appointing Yang Hu as Grand Tutor and Marquis of Juping. When the people of the southern provinces heard that Yang Hu had died, they closed the markets and wept. The soldiers guarding the border in Jiangnan were also saddened. The people of Shangyang remembered his virtue and built a temple and a stele for him on Xian Mountain. Those who passed by and saw the inscription could not help shedding tears, so it was called the Tear-Falling Stele. Following Yang Hu's final words, Sima Yan appointed Du Yu as Grand Commander who guards the south, placing him in charge of the military affairs of Jingzhou. Du Yu was mature and steady, and he loved learning without tiring. He especially loved reading the Zuo tradition and often had people carry the book before his horse. People of the time called him the Zuo tradition addict. After he arrived in Xiangyang, he comforted the people, organized the army, and prepared to attack Wu. At this time, the two great generals of Eastern Wu, Ding Feng and Lu Kang, had both already passed away. Sun Hao became even more absurd, cruel, and violent. Every time he held a banquet for his ministers, he forced everyone to drink until they were drunk, and he also arranged for gentlemen of the Yellow Gate to specially impeach mistakes made during the banquet. If anyone showed even slight improper behavior, that person might have his face peeled off or his eyes gouged out. All the ministers were terrified. Wang Jun, inspector of Yizhou in Jin, submitted a memorial requesting an attack on Wu. He said, "Sun Hao is immoral and brutal, and should be taken as soon as possible. If Sun Hao dies and is replaced by a worthy ruler, he will instead be difficult to deal with. I have spent 7 years building ships, and the ships are already somewhat old. I myself am old and may die at any time. If these 3 matters cannot be completed at the same time, success will be hard. I hope your majesty will not miss this chance." After Sima Yan read it, he said to the ministers, "Wang Jun's words are the same as Yang Hu's intention. My mind is made up." But the attendant official Wang Hun submitted, "Sun Hao is preparing to move north. His army is already organized and its momentum is strong. He will not be easy to deal with. It would be better to delay 1 more year and attack after he has become tired. After hearing this, Sima Yan stopped the troop movement for a time and returned to the palace to play chess with Secretary Zhang Hua. Before long, the frontier sent another memorial from Du Yu. In the memorial, Du Yu said, "Since autumn, the situation for attacking Wu has already become clear. If we stop now, Sun Hao will surely become afraid. Move the capital to Wuchang, build city defenses in Jiangnan, and move the people. At that time, the cities will be hard to attack, and the riverbanks will have nothing to seize. If we wait until next year to fight, it will be too late." Sima Yan had just finished reading when Zhang Hua suddenly put down the chessboard, rose, and said, "Your Majesty is wise, and the state is strong. The Wu ruler is brutal, and the people's hearts are unstable. If we send troops now, we will surely win. You must not hesitate." Sima Yan said, "You are right. I have no more doubts." So Sima Yan appointed Du Yu as Grand Commander, leading 100,000 soldiers from Jiangling. Great General who guards the east, Sima Zhou set out from Tuzhang. Great General who pacifies the east, Wang Hun, set out from Hengzhang. General who builds might, Wang Rong, set out from Wuchang. General who pacifies the south, Hu Fen, set out from Xiakou. The armies of each route would all follow Du Yu's orders. At the same time, he sent Dragon Rising General Wang Zhen and Guangwu General Tang Bin to lead the navy downstream toward the east. The water and land forces together number more than 200,000, with tens of thousands of warships. He also ordered Champion General Yang Ji to station at Xiangyang and command all the armies. When the news reached eastern Wu, Sun Hao was greatly shocked and hurriedly summoned Chancellor Zhang Ti, Minister over the Masses He Ji, and Minister of Works Teng Sun to discuss it. Zhang Ti said, "We can have General of Chariots and Cavalry Wu Yan serve as commander and go to Jiangling to face Du Yu. General of Chariots and Cavalry Sun Xin can block Xiakou. I am willing to serve as military advisor, take Left General Shen Ying and Right General Zhuge Zhan and lead 100,000 troops out of Newju to support the other routes." Sun Hao accepted the plan and sent Zhang Ti to lead troops away while he himself returned to the rear palace, uneasy in his heart. Central regular attendant Sen Hun asked him why he was worried. Sun Hao said, "The Jin army is advancing in several routes, and especially Wang Jun, who is leading a great number of warships down the river. Their power is extremely strong. I am truly worried." Sen Hun said, "I have a plan that can make Wang Jun's warships all shatter. Jiangnan has plenty of iron. We can make several hundred iron chains, each several hundred zhang long, and lock them across the river. Then we can make tens of thousands of iron spikes, each more than 1 zhang long, and sink them into the water. When the Jin ships come down with the current, they will be broken when they meet the iron spikes, and blocked when they meet the iron chains. Then they will have no way to cross the river." Sun Hao was delighted and immediately ordered craftsmen to build iron chains and iron spikes through the night and arrange the river defenses. Meanwhile, Du Yu, commander of the Jin army, led troops out from Jiangling. First, he sent his subordinate officer Zhou Ji with 800 sailors to secretly cross the Yangtze in small boats and attack Lexiang at night. He also placed many banners in the forests of Ba Mountain, firing cannons and beating drums during the day, and lighting fires at night to create a false display of force. The next day, Du Yu led the great army forward by both water and land. Scouts came to report, "The Wu ruler has sent Wu Yan by land, Lu Jing by water, and Sun Xin as vanguard. 3 routes are coming to meet us." Du Yu led the army forward, and Sun Xin's fleet arrived first. As soon as the 2 armies began fighting, Du Yu pretended to withdraw. Sun Xin led troops ashore to pursue him. Before they had gone 20 li, a cannon signal suddenly sounded, and Jin troops came out from all sides. The Wu soldiers fell into chaos and turned to flee. Du Yu took advantage of the moment and attacked, killing and capturing countless men. San Xing fled to the edge of the city. Zhou Ji had already led 800 men into the city in disguise and was setting fires everywhere. San Xing was shocked and said, "Has the northern army actually flown across the river?" He was just about to withdraw when Zhou Ji shouted and cut San Xing down. Lu Jing was still on his ship. When he saw fires rising everywhere on the south bank of the river and also saw the great banners of Jin Great General who guards the south, Du Yu, floating on Ba Mountain, He panicked and went ashore to flee for his life, but Jin General Zhang Shang caught up with him and killed him. Seeing that all 3 routes had been defeated, Wu Yan abandoned the city and fled, but he was also captured by hidden troops and sent before Du Yu. Du Yu said, "There is no use keeping him." He ordered him beheaded, so the Jin army took Jiangling. After that, from the Yuan and Xiang region all the way to the area near Guangzhou, the defending generals of each commandery surrendered as soon as they heard the news, presenting their seals and tallies. Du Yu sent men carrying imperial tallies to comfort the people and did not disturb even a hair or a thread. Then he led the army to attack Wuchang, and Wuchang also surrendered at once. Du Yu's military prestige rose greatly, and he gathered the generals to discuss the plan to attack Jianyi. Hu Fen said, "A powerful enemy of 100 years cannot be wiped out in one move. Now the spring waters are rising, so we should not remain here too long. It would be better to wait until next year before launching a great attack," Du Yu said. In the past, Yue Yi attacked Qi and defeated a powerful enemy in a single battle at the Ji River. Now the power of our army is strong, like splitting bamboo. Our momentum cannot be stopped. If we delay and do not advance, we will instead lose the chance. So he immediately sent orders to all the armies to attack Jianye together. At this time, Dragon Rising General Wang Jun led the navy downstream. Scouts reported, "The Wu people have made iron chains across the river and have also sunk iron spikes into the water for defense." Wang Jun laughed loudly and ordered men to build several dozen large rafts. On the rafts, they tied straw men wearing armor and holding staffs, then released them downstream. From far away, the Wu soldiers thought they were real soldiers and retreated in panic. Wang Jun took the chance to pull up and throw away the iron spikes. He also lit great torches on the rafts and used hemp oil to feed the fire. Whenever they met an iron chain, they burned it, and before long, all the chains were broken. The Jin Navy went down the Yangtze, unbeatable wherever it went. Eastern Wu Chancellor Zhang Ti sent Shen Ying and Zhuge Zhan to meet the Jin army in battle. Shen Ying said to Zhuge Zhan, "The defenses upstream are not enough. The Jin army will surely come from there. If we can win, Jiangnan can still be secured. If we cross the river and lose, then everything will be over." Zhuge Zhan said, "You are right." Before his words had ended, someone came to report, "The Jin army is coming down the river, and its power cannot be stopped." The 2 men were greatly shocked and hurried to see Zhang Ti. Zhuge Zhan said, "Eastern Wu's situation is already lost. Should we first flee for our lives?" Zhang Ti said through tears, "Everyone knows Wu is about to fall. If ruler and ministers all surrender and not a single person dies for the national disaster, would that not be shameful?" Zhuge Zhan also left in tears. Zhang Ti and Shen Ying led troops and resisted with all their strength, but they were soon surrounded by the Jin army. Zhou Ji was the first to charge into the Wu camp. Zhang Ti fought desperately, but in the end, he died in the chaotic army. Shen Ying was also killed by Zhou Ji, and the Wu army scattered and collapsed. The Jin army captured Mianzhu and pushed deep into Wu territory. Wang Jun sent men to deliver news of victory back to Jin, and Sima Yan was delighted. But Jia Chong reported, "Our army has been away for a long time. They are not used to the water and soil and will surely fall ill. We should recall the army and make new arrangements," Zhang Hua said. "The great army has already pushed deep into the enemy's nest, and the Wu army is afraid. In less than 1 month, Sun Hao will surely be captured. If we recall them lightly, all previous achievements will be wasted." Jia Chong angrily rebuked Zhang Hua, but Sima Yan said, "This is my decision. You do not need to argue anymore." Before long, another urgent report from Du Yu arrived, and Sima Yan became even firmer. In the end, he ordered the army to continue advancing. Wang Jun and the others received the order and advanced by both water and land. The drums sounded like thunder, and their power shook the sky. When the Wu soldiers saw the Jin banners, they surrendered one after another. When Sun Hao heard the news, his face turned deathly pale. The minister said, "The northern army is getting closer and closer. The soldiers and people of Jiangnan are surrendering without a fight. What can we do?" Sun Hao asked. "Why are they not resisting?" The ministers answered, "All of this is because Sen Hun has ruined the state. Please, Your Majesty, kill him, and we are willing to leave the city and fight to the death." Sun Hao said, "Sen Hun is a pillar of the state. How could he have ruined the state?" The ministers shouted angrily, "Has your majesty not heard of Huang Hao of Shu?" Without waiting for Sun Hao's order, they rushed into the palace and tore Sen Han to pieces. Tao Jun reported, "My warships are all small. Please transfer 20,000 imperial guards to ride large ships and meet the enemy in battle. We will surely defeat them." Sun Hao accepted this and assigned the imperial guards to go upstream with Tao Jun to meet the enemy. Zhang Xiang, front general of Wu, led the navy down the river to face the enemy. Just as the two armies were about to fight, a strong wind suddenly rose from the northwest, blowing down all the Wu army's banners. The soldiers were unwilling to leave the ships and scattered in flight. Only Zhang Xiang remained with several dozen men. Wang Jun raised his sails and advanced. When he passed San Shan, the sailors said, "The wind and waves are too strong, and the ships will have difficulty moving forward. It would be better to wait until the wind weakens." Wang Jun drew his sword and said angrily, "I am about to attack Stone City. How can we stop here?" So he beat the drums and urged the army forward. Wu General Zhang Shang saw that the situation was lost and led his troops to surrender. Wang Jun said, "If you truly surrender, then show me merit." After Zhang Shang returned to his ship, he directly opened the city gates and welcomed the Jin army. When Sun Hao heard that the Jin army had entered the city, he wanted to kill himself. Palace Secretariat Director Hu Cheng and Chamberlain for Ceremonials Zhu Ying advised him, "Why does your majesty not follow the example of the Shu ruler Liu Shan and surrender peacefully?" Sun Hao listened. He tied himself with ropes and brought the civil and military officials to Wang Jun's army to surrender. Wang Jun untied his ropes, burned the surrender carriage, and received him with the ceremony due to an emperor. From then on, Eastern Wu's 4 provinces, 43 commanderies, 313 counties, more than 520,000 households, more than 30,000 officials, 230,000 soldiers, 2,300,000 men and women among the common people, as well as grain, ships, and palace women, all belonged to Great Jin. The Jin army issued orders to comfort the people and distribute grain, and Jiangnan gradually settled. The next day, Tao Jun's army scattered without fighting. Sima Zhou and Wang Rong led troops and arrived. Seeing Wang Jun's great victory, they were very happy. Du Yu also arrived afterward, rewarded the 3 armies, opened the granaries, and relieved the people of Wu. The hearts of the people gradually settled. Wu Yan, administrator of Jianping, still held firm and refused to surrender. Only after he heard that the state of Wu had already fallen did he open the city and submit. Wang Jun submitted a memorial reporting the victory. When the court learned that Eastern Wu had been pacified, ruler and ministers celebrated together. Sima Yan raised his cup and shed tears, saying, "This is Grandtutor Yang's merit. What a pity that he cannot see it with his own eyes." After Sun Shu left court, he cried toward the south and said, "In those years, the Sun family punished rebellion and began from the position of one colonel, building the foundation of Jiangdong. Now Sun Hao has actually abandoned Jiangnan and surrendered. Heaven above, what kind of man is this?" Afterward, Wang Jun returned to court with the army, escorting the Wu ruler Sun Hao to Luoyang to meet the Jin emperor. Sun Hao entered the hall and bowed on his knees. Sima Yan granted him a seat and said, "I prepared this seat for you long ago." Sun Hao answered, "In the south, I also prepared a seat and waited for your majesty." Sima Yan laughed loudly. Jia Chong asked Sun Hao, "I heard that when you were in the south, you often gouged out people's eyes and peeled off people's faces. What kind of punishment was this?" Sun Hao answered, "This was the punishment for those who killed their ruler, rebelled, and were disloyal." After Jia Chong heard this, he fell silent, ashamed in his heart. Sima Yan made Sun Hao marquis, who submits to destiny. Sun Hao's sons and grandsons were made gentlemen of the household, and the ministers who had surrendered with him were also all made ranked marquises. Although Zhang Ti had died in battle, his sons and grandsons were also granted rewards. Wang Jun was made general who supports the state, and the other generals each received titles and rewards. From then on, the 3 kingdoms all belonged to the Jin Emperor Sima Yan, and the realm was finally reunited. This truly answered that saying, "The great pattern of the world is that what has long been united must divide, and what has long been divided must unite." Later, the later lord of Shuhan, Liu Shan, died in the 7th year of Taixi in Jin. The Wei ruler Cao Huan died in the 1st year of Tai'an. The Wu ruler Sun Hao died in the 4th year of Taikang. all of them were able to live out their lives in peace. Looking back on the rise and fall of the three kingdoms, from the chaos at the end of Han, He Jin summoned outside troops into the capital and was instead killed by the eunuchs. Dong Zhuge took advantage of the disorder and entered the capital, seized power, deposed and installed emperors, and from then on, heroes and warlords rose everywhere under heaven. Sun Jian and Sun Si, father and son, laid the foundation of Jiangdong. Yan Shao and Yan Shu, brothers of the Yan family, each dominated one region. Liu Yan and Liu Zhang, father and son, occupied Ba and Shu. Liu Biao held Jing and Xiang. Ma Teng and Han Sui controlled Zhiliang. Tao Qian, Zhang Xiu, Gongsun Zan, and other lords each held their own territory. Cao Cao held the Son of Heaven hostage to command the feudal lords, controlled the central plains, widely gathered civil officials and military generals, and laid the foundation of Cao Wei. Liu Bei came from Laosang. As a kinsman of the Han imperial house, he swore brotherhood with Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, and set his mind on restoring the Han. But in his early years, he wandered in hardship, suffered defeat after defeat, and lost again and again. Only after he made 3 visits to the thatched cottage and invited Zhuge Liang out, did he gradually seize Jingzhou, enter and occupy western Tron, and form the three-way division of the realm with Cao Wei and eastern Wu. Sadly, not long after Liu Bei declared himself emperor, he died of illness at Beidi City and entrusted Shu Han to Zhuge Liang. To restore the Han, Zhuge Liang came out to Mount Qi 6 times. Although he clearly knew that heaven's will was difficult, he still used his own strength to act against fate. In the end, his star fell at Wuzhang Plains, and the northern campaigns failed just before success. Jiang Wei inherited Zhuge Liang's unfinished wish and launched 9 northern campaigns against the central plains, but in the end, he still could not reverse the decline of Shu Han. Later, Zhong Hui and Deng Ai divided their armies to attack Shu. Deng Ai secretly crossed through Yinping and went straight for Chengdu. Liu Shan came out and surrendered, and Shu Han was destroyed. Although Shu Han swallowed Shu, power had long since fallen into the hands of the Sima family. Sima Yi, Sima Shi, and Sima Zhao built their power over 3 generations, and finally Sima Yan received Wei's abdication and declared himself emperor, establishing Western Jin. After that, the Jin army advanced by both water and land, broke eastern Wu, and Sun Hao came out and surrendered. The 3 kingdoms finally returned to unity. The last emperor of Cao Wei, Cao Huan, was made king of Chenliu. The last emperor of eastern Wu, Sun Hao, was made marquis who submits to destiny. The later lord of Shu Han, Liu Shan, was made duke of Anluo. The grand history of Wei, Shu, and Wu standing as 3 rival kingdoms finally turned into an empty dream. When later generations look back, they can only sigh over the rise and fall of dynasties, the success and failure of heroes, and how in the end, all of it was carried away by the rolling river waters. And here, our story of romance of the 3 kingdoms finally comes to its end. From the Yellow Turban Rebellion and the decline of the Han House, to Deng Zhuo's chaos in government and the rise of warlords everywhere, from Cao Cao holding the emperor to command the lords, to Liu Bei visiting the thatched cottage 3 times and inviting Zhuge Liang out, from the Sun family, father and son, building their foundation in Jiangdong, to the Battle of Red Cliffs establishing the 3-way division of the realm. From Guan Yu's defeat at Maicheng and Liu Bei's final trust at Beidi City, to Zhuge Liang's 6 campaigns from Mount Qi and the falling of his star at Wuzhang Plains. And then to Jiang Wei's northern campaigns, Deng Ai's secret crossing through Yinping and Liu Shan opening the city and surrendering. The rise and fall of Wei, Shu, and Wu all comes to a close here. If we place the story of Romance of the 3 Kingdoms back into real history, we will see that what it tells is not an isolated age of heroes, but the process of the entire Chinese political order being rebuilt after the collapse of the Eastern Han Empire. In the late Eastern Han period, the court had long been torn apart by struggles between powerful relatives of the imperial family and eunuchs. Local powerful families kept expanding their influence, land annexation became severe, and the burden on ordinary people grew heavy. In 184 AD, the Yellow Turban Rebellion broke out. Although the rebellion was eventually suppressed, the Eastern Han central government had already lost effective control over the local regions. In order to pacify wars in different places, the court had no choice but to rely on provincial governors, commandery administrators, and military commanders. This also allowed local warlords to begin holding independent military power, financial power, and territory. After that, Dongzhu entered the capital, deposed and installed emperors, and held the court hostage, further destroying the already fragile political order of the Eastern Han. Regional lords rose up one after another, and the realm moved from unity toward division. The wars of this period were not only about one-on-one duels between generals and battles of strategy between advisors, as the novel describes. In real history, the late Han and Three Kingdoms period was an age of mass population displacement, damaged agricultural production, repeated changes of control in provinces and commanderies, and the rebuilding of social order. Cao Cao was able to rise in the north not only because of his military talent, but also because he carried out the Tunqian farming system, restored production, controlled Emperor Xian of Han, and absorbed talented members of the scholar gentry. After he controlled the central plains, he gradually eliminated Yuan Shao, Yuan Shu, Liu Bu, the remaining forces of Liu Biao, and other powers, laying the foundation of Cao Wei. Liu Bei's rise depended on his political identity as a member of the Han imperial clan, as well as the two key geographical bases of Jingzhou and Western Tren. The strategy Zhuge Zhan proposed in the Longzhong Plan was centered on occupying Jingzhou and Yizhou, allying with Wu against Cao, and waiting for changes in the realm. This strategy allowed Liu Bei's group to move from long-term wandering without a base into a regime that could stand against Cao Wei and Eastern Wu. But the loss of Jingzhou, Guan Yu's defeat and death, and the crushing defeat at the Battle of Yiling meant that Shu Han lost the key conditions for further expansion almost from the very beginning of its founding. Eastern Wu relied on the natural barrier of the Yangtze River and the scholar gentry of Jiangdong to form a stable southern regime. Sun Jian and Sun Si laid the foundation, and Sun Quan managed Jiangdong for many years. After the Battle of Red Cliffs, he strengthened the north-south confrontation with Cao Wei. Although Eastern Wu is often placed between Wei and Shu in the novel, in real history it was the longest-lasting of the three kingdoms. Relying on river defenses, naval forces, and the economy of Jiangnan, it maintained its independence for more than half a century. In 220 AD, Cao Pai accepted the abdication of Emperor Xian of Han and founded Cao Wei, officially ending the Eastern Han. In 221 AD, Liu Bei declared himself emperor in Chengdu, founded Shu Han, and continued to raise the banner of restoring the Han house. In 229 AD, Sun Quan declared himself emperor and founded Eastern Wu. At this point, the historical structure of the three kingdoms, Wei, Shu, and Wu, truly took shape. But the strength of the three kingdoms was not balanced. Cao Wei held the central plains and most of the north, with the strongest population, land, and resources. Eastern Wu held Jiangdong and the lands of Jingzhou and Yangzhou, relying on the Yangtze River defense line to protect itself for a long time. Shu Han, although it occupied the rich land of Yizhou, had the smallest territory and the most limited population and talent reserves. So Zhuge Liang's northern campaigns were not only about fulfilling a personal ideal. Strategically, Shu Han had to take the initiative. If it stayed trapped in Yizhou for too long, its national strength would only fall further and further behind Cao Wei. After Zhuge Liang's death, Jiang Wei continued the northern campaigns because he was trying to continue this national policy of active offense. But in the later period of Shu Han, the state's resources were being consumed more and more heavily, and the court was also influenced by people like Huang Hao. It was already becoming very hard to sustain a long war. In 263 AD, Cao Wei launched the war to destroy Shu. Zheng Hui advanced from Hanzhong at the front, while Deng Ai secretly crossed through Yinping, bypassed the natural barrier of Jianga, and pressed straight toward Chengdu. Liu Shan finally surrendered, and Shu Han was destroyed. After the fall of Shu Han, Jiang Wei still tried to use Zheng Hui to restore the state, but Zheng Hui's rebellion quickly failed. Jiang Wei, Zheng Hui, and Deng Ai died one after another in the chaos. Shu Han's final counterattack also ended with them. However, the Cao Wei that destroyed Shu was no longer truly controlled by the Cao family. Ever since Sima Yi launched the incident at Gaoping Tombs, the Sima family had gradually taken control of Wei's military and political power. Sima Shi and Sima Zhao continued to remove opposing forces and suppress the rebellions in Huainan, eventually turning the Cao Wei emperor into a ruler in name only. In 265 AD, Sima Zhao's son Sima Yan accepted the abdication of the Wei emperor Cao Huan and founded Western Jin. Cao Wei was destroyed, and the realm passed from the Cao family into the hands of the Sima family. After that, Eastern Wu became the last regime that had not yet submitted to Jin. In the later period of Eastern Wu, Sun Hao was cruel and without the Wei. The government became corrupt, loyal ministers were killed, and the hearts of the people were shaken. At the same time, after destroying Shu, Western Jin already had the strength to unify the realm. Yang Hu guarded Xiangyang and planned the campaign against Wu for a long time. Du Yu, Wang Jun, and others continued this strategy, and finally attacked Wu in a great campaign by both water and land. In 280 AD, Wang Jun's tower ships went down the river. The Jin army entered Jianye, and Sun Hao surrendered. Eastern Wu was destroyed, and the Three Kingdoms period officially came to an end. From the Yellow Turban Rebellion at the end of the Eastern Han to Western Jin's destruction of Wu, nearly a full century had passed. This age experienced a series of enormous changes: the collapse of the central court, the division of territory among local warlords, the three-way balance of the kingdoms, the Sima family's usurpation of Wei, and Jin's destruction of Wu and reunification of the realm. Behind the heroic figures in the novel were real historical changes in institutions, geography, population movement, scholar-gentry politics, and military reorganization. Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sang Quan represented the rise of three different regional groups. Zhuge Liang, Sima Yi, Lu Sen, Yang Hu, Du Yu, and others represented different stages in this era's movement from warlord division toward reunification. So, although Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a novel, its foundation comes from the real history of the late Han and Three Kingdoms period. It transforms complex political struggles, military conflicts, and dynastic change into one clear storyline. The Eastern Han falls into disorder, the warlords fight for power. After Red Cliffs, the realm divides into three. Shu Han falls first, Cao Wei is usurped, Western Jin destroys Wu, and the realm returns to unity. The last emperor of Cao Wei, Cao Huan, was made king of Chengdu. The later lord of Shu Han, Liu Shan, was made duke of Anle. The last emperor of Eastern Wu, Sun Hao, was made marquis of Guiming. The rulers of the Three Kingdoms who had once fought for the realm all ended up as titled nobles under the order of a new dynasty. Decades of war among Wei, Shu, and Wu did not allow any one of the three to complete unification. The one that truly ended the Three Kingdoms was the rising Western Jin of the Sima family. This is exactly what the opening line of Romance of the Three Kingdoms says. The great trend of the realm is this: long divided, it must unite. Long united, it must divide. The unity of the Eastern Han moved toward division, and the division of the Three Kingdoms finally returned to unity under Western Jin. At this point, the era opened by Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sun Quan had ended. The historical process joined by Zhuge Liang, Sima Yi, Zhang Wei, Lu Sun, Deng Ai, Zheng Hui, and others had also fully entered the order of a new dynasty. The story of the Three Kingdoms ends here, but the history of the late Han and Three Kingdoms period remains one of the most important, most complex, and most repeatedly retold eras in Chinese history. It connects the end of the Han empires and also opens the prelude to the long division and reorganization of the Wei, Jin, Southern, and Northern dynasties period. To understand the Three Kingdoms is not only to understand several wars and several heroes. It is to understand how an old dynasty collapsed and how a new age was formed in the middle of war and chaos. That's all for today's episode. See you next time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to give the show a like, subscribe, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it too. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next episode.
Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast oracle bones. Thou dynasty built right. Qin dynasty forged the great walls. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. Three kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's flame. Yuan dynasty swept the northern plains. Ming dynasty strengthened walls again. Qing dynasty closed an ancient end. Every age leaves stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. Three kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's